So good protection for Ray to allow Stamps to get himself open.
9 catch, 139 yards for Stamps. Leading receiver last year. Ray looking for him again. And he hangs on.
Oh, boy.
Took a hit from Lance Frazier. But Fred Stamps putting on a show here at Mosaic.
Well, there's been prettier catches in 2010, but not many that are tougher than this. And here's an isolation of them. They tried to get him on a little bit of a double move on Donovan Alexander, but Alexander had help from Lance Frazier, who made contact right at the perfect time, and somehow Fred Stamps came up with it.
Good looking drive for the Eskimos, 26 for Stamps. 165 on the day. McCarty, Calvin McCarty, the ball carrier, down to the 30 with 3.
Calvin McCarty a year ago at around this time when the Edmonton Eskimos came back from a 21-point deficit to beat Saskatchewan. He was the key player in that game with 76 yards rushing on 9 carries. Haven't seen much of him here tonight. That's really, I believe, his first touch.
A couple of touchdowns in that game. Whitlock gets a breather. 10 minutes to go, fourth quarter. Second and 7, and Ray over the middle has got Talbot. Andre Talbot the catch. Looks like he may be short of the first down. And they mark Talbot at the 24. It's 3rd and 2.
Well, you consider what we saw in that BC game. Saskatchewan played in Empire Field, and the pressure they got on the Lion quarterbacks. This offensive line for Edmonton has really held up well in this second half. Richie Hall is going after this.
A little surprised. 31-yard field goal to take the lead, but they're going to try and stay on the field.
I am too.
They get the first down. And who else would it be than number 2 so far in this game?
Yeah, he has been the go-to guy. I mean, Fred Stamps has made a big comeback from that drop. And again, he had a pretty good game last week, but for the one play. And he has bounced way back. And I know there's a lot of Rider fans wondering, why don't they just double cover Fred Stamps and get up in there? He only needed 3 or 4 yards, but you can't let him get in behind you for the score.
8th play of the drive. Back in the hands of McCarty, and a good run by Calvin McCarty to the 10-yard line. But if the Eskimos win today, it'll be on the back of Fred Stamps.
292, that's what I was saying about that Montreal game, is that he did have the one play, but that's what everyone's talked about. But was over 100 yards last week, 292 in the last 2 games, and he has been the man for Ricky Ray here this afternoon.
2nd and 2, McCarty again. Fumble. And a ball came loose, and the Roughriders have it. Comes up with the football. He had a fumble recovery for a touchdown last week, and one almost as big here.
Big play by the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Sean Lucas at linebacker. There's fumbles when a player loses the handle, and then there's forced fumbles. And Sean Lucas gets the forced fumble. He throws his body in there, and Lucas is the guy right there who knocks the ball out with his left elbow on Calvin McCarty. That's a fumble. Saskatchewan takes over.
So another mishap for the Eskimos in the red zone. Here's a little double reverse. Rob Bagg from his end zone, and now wide open field. For Rob Bagg, 46 yards.
Maurice Lloyd, I believe, for the Edmonton Eskimos, was the only guy that had a chance, and he took the wrong angle. Rob Bagg on the reverse is coming this way. We'll show you exactly what happens with Maurice Lloyd. He comes down tight here on this angle. Because he's on the wrong angle here, you get Bagg outside and around him. If he stays wider, he can contain it and get some help from his friends.
6 receivers out. Gunned underneath. And Getzlaff the catch to the 50-yard line and 5.
It's really a game of inches and leverage, and you see Maurice Lloyd there, who just gets caught with a bit of the wrong angle, and once Rob Bagg gets outside of containment, now every single Edmonton Eskimo defender is in chase, and they're trying to catch one of the fastest receivers out there.
Second and 5, and again, 6 receivers out. Durant will take off. First down. And one more. Untouched and out at the Edmonton 21. 29-yard run for Darian Durant.
And a big run that gets some help here from Wes Cates. Darian Durant's going to roll out here, and he sees when he has a little more time that he's got some open field in front of him. Wes Cates to the right of your screen, rather than block on Havy Glad here, he's just going to run him off. He sees Darian Durant running the ball. He says, well, you just keep covering me, and I'll just keep running deep, and you can't turn around and tackle our quarterback.
At the long drive of the first half, most of it on the ground, and they're chewing up the yardage on the ground here, but now Durant, well, he'll take off again. And a hook slide underneath Mo Lloyd, who was bearing down in a hurry. This started inside the Saskatchewan 10-yard line, and the damage done, for the most part, on the ground.
And on the reverse to Rob Bagg. What a gutsy play call down in the shadow of your goalposts to run a reverse with all the ball handling that has to happen in a reverse.
In your end zone with a 1-point lead.
Wow.
Second and 5, they bunch to the near side. Over the middle, incomplete, penalty marker. Dressler, the intended target.
So it'll be against the Riders and a holding call.
Holding Saskatchewan number 57. That penalty's declined. Third down.
Mark Bronto, the right guard, so the field goal unit will come on. And Luca Conchi will attempt a 23-yarder.
Interesting to know who called the reverse back in their own end. That is a gutsy play call that worked to perfection. And with the smile on Doug Barry there,
Timeout.
likely he was the one who called it.
Eskimos. The Eskimos had too many men on the field. Edmonton had 13 men on the field, and that's why that timeout had to be taken. Otherwise, the Riders would have been celebrating a too many men penalty here.
After the reverse, just to show you the reaction of the offensive coordinator. Yeah, it was a gutsy call, but when they work, they're the right call.
The pants may be a bad call, but the play call was right.
You don't like the pants? We're not gonna adopt that for the booth.
Look at Kanji, and now the lead is 4 with 4.5 minutes left at Mosaic. Business.
Well, we've got to finish.
Yeah, the Eskimos have their work cut out for them, starting at the 35, down by 4. And Ricky Ray looking for Jason Barnes, who laid out but couldn't bring it in. Omar Morgan, the veteran corner, was with them.
Ricky Ray aggressive on first down to go deep down the field to Jason Barnes. A couple of moves here. He's got time to do that. And if the offensive line continues to hold up the way they are, you can run those 2-3 moves in that one just out of the fingertip.
Tough to overthrow a receiver against this win. But Ray did, and now it's 2nd and 10. A lot of time. Fred stamps, and he breaks a tackle, and look out! Hold down and a fumble, and Rough Riders have it. Fred stamps corralled at the 40, and he coughed it up.
The Riders defensively are playing to steal the ball. They're ripping at it, they're pulling at it. They're not just going out to try and make tackles, they're trying to pull it out and turn it over, and it's worked back-to-back series now as I believe it was Tad Cornegay comes across and just rips it out of the hands of Fred Stamps.
You're right, Cornegay with the strip, James Patrick the recovery. And not much question that Stamps was still in play there. Cornegay tackled the football.
Defenders are taught that. Go ahead and tackle the ball.
Back-to-back Eskimo fumbles. That one batted down. TJ Hill off the edge. Sam linebacker with the knockdown.
Tad Cornegay back in the lineup after missing last week. And the problem for the Edmonton Eskimos in the turnover department has reared its ugly head once more in this 4th quarter because they looked like they had eliminated it.
Remember, -8 coming in, +1 at the half, but back-to-back fumbles, McCarty and Stamps.
Stamps just wants another chance.
Flat on the blitz, and they get to Durant, and Durant tosses it out. Cates has got it, and the Eskimos bring him down quickly. An alert play by Darian Durant after TJ Hill and Javi Glatt met him.
Alert, gutsy, dangerous. There's a few words you could use to describe this type of play in this type of game with a 4-point lead and wrapped up like that to just toss it.
Wow, 3 minutes left, 4th quarter.
There are a limited number of Rutledge black and red jerseys still available.
Are you the CFL's finest fan?
Gibson's finest Canadian whiskey is searching for you. Hit tsn.ca/Gibsons and submit your video or photo
For a chance to win the ultimate trip to Grey Cup 2010 in Edmonton.
The finest fan will present the award for the Gibson's finest, most outstanding player.
Gibson's Finest Canadian Whiskey is a proud sponsor of the CFL. Gibson's Finest Canadian Whiskey. Your whiskey, your way. No purchase necessary. Must be legal drinking age.
Well, our game story is brought to you by Mr. Lube.
Ricky Ray's found some chemistry with Fred Stamps again. 212 yards. Darian Durant, the passing game, not at its best, but enough to give the Saskatchewan Roughriders a 4-point lead at this point and a good 4th quarter. Now they'll give the ball back to Ricky Ray here.
Jamaica Rector awaits. Ken Miller has deployed Luka Kanji as a punter in the 2nd half today. Louis Sakota had a rough day with the wind. And let's see what Kanji does. Line drive kick. Rector let it hop. Little bobble, and Patrick down quickly. So no return for Jamaica Rector. Well, ball security an issue, and Richie Hall addressed that prior to the game.
Being sound fundamentally, and fundamentally means hanging on to the football and protecting the football because, you know, I mean, I think we're probably a -7 or something like that, and it's tough to win football games, and to this day we haven't won football games, so we've only hurt ourselves. We've been our own worst enemy.
And they are now a -9.
And a major foul tacked on. So the hole gets deeper.
Lots of time for Ricky Ray. He's got to battle the wind, the crowd, and oh yeah, the Rider defense.
Starting at their 16. Kelly Campbell's got the ball. And a 9-yard pickup for Campbell.
Richie's talked about